Hello friends, it is Danni. Today I am joined by Miss Hadley Dyer. She is the author of Here So Far Away. And would you like to tell them what it is about?
Okay, well, Here So Far Away is a novel for young adults, upper end of YA, crossing over into adults. It's about a 17-year-old girl named George Warren, falls in love with a much older guy, and experiences a lot of other troubles during her final year of high school back in what's basically the rural Maritimes in the early 1990s.
So this copy is actually going to be given away at the end of this video because I had you sign it without a personalization. So I will read off the giveaway rules later, but I have a few questions written down here, so that's what we'll be doing today.
Okay.
What has it been like to go from working in a publishing company to actually writing the books that they are now publishing by you?
Well, I've been a writer and an editor for a long time. So this is my first chance to be a full-time writer, which I'll do for about half a minute, because it is quite a luxury to be a full-time writer. Most writers do have to maintain some kind of a day job. I've been so used to wearing both hats. You know, when my first novel came out back in 2006, a middle grade novel called Johnny Kellogg Died Today, I was working at an independent publishing house here in Canada. So I am kind of used to wearing both hats. But I have to say, HarperCollins has been really nice to me, and it has been very fun to work with my former colleagues on the other side for a little while. And because I am familiar with how publishing works, I know when someone is bringing their A game to it, and I've been just so well treated from editorial to sales and promotion and publicity and all the rest. So that's been a real treat.
Kind of trick question. In 10 words or less, how would you describe your typical writing process?
Organized chaos. 2.
What advice do you have for newer aspiring authors, including me?
Oh, well, okay. The usual advice is to read a lot and write a lot, and that's absolutely what you should be doing. I would add to that that you should try to write every day, even if it's just for a few minutes, especially if you're in the middle of a draft with something. I find that you can quickly lose your momentum, and it can take a long time to get it back. As I was saying to you earlier, even just for 5 minutes a day, if you're having a busy day, get in there, make a few notes, scribble a few sentences, keep it moving, stay in the world. Yeah, absolutely. And when you read, don't just read the genre that you're interested in or that you're used to. You're now, as an author, it's your professional duty to put more tools in your toolbox. So read books that seem too hard, too boring, too dense, too weird. Read different genres. Read international authors that can really open your eyes. So read really widely and challenging books as well.
I am actually currently writing something that is way out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is contemporary to write, and right now I'm writing a Peter Pan retelling in outer space.
Oh, okay, that's a little different.
Way out there, far left.
Well, I'm out of my comfort zone too, but actually it's a little bit fun, isn't it? To kind of
it's
stretch
interesting.
A little. Yeah.
I've definitely had to read a lot of, my friend actually has this guidebook to how to write space and outer space novels for sci-fi. So she found this one part where it tells me everything about spaceships and things, and I'm like, this is perfect because I'm writing about a pirate spaceship outer space. So have to figure out how that mechanics work.
No, but then that's where a lot of the creative stuff, you do what you think is kind of left brain thinking and research and craft and whatever. But actually that can be what fires the creative side of your brain. There's lots of legends and fairy tales and things where that Peter Pan was born out of to be found as well.
It also helps that I watch Doctor Who, so I have I know exactly where I want to go with it, because it's like a space time travel Peter Pan.
Yes.
Who has been your favorite character to write in Here So Far Away or in your other novels?
Well, I think probably it's a toss-up between George, who's the main character, and her friend Bill, who's her best buddy.
He's my favorite one. I recently reviewed this book because I finished reading it just before it came out. So I put up the review right as it did come out, and I said she can get rid of all of her other friends, but she needs to keep Bill. He's my favorite. He's good.
I love him because he's a composite character of all of these guy friends I've had over the years. I've had a lot of really good platonic male friends from middle school up to now, and so many of the conversations they have are like conversations that I've had with my guy friends in my teens and my 20s when you're trying to figure out. And I'm really grateful to them for giving me the male perspective on things, which was so helpful in the story. But mostly I just loved putting him and George in a room together and just letting them kind of banter back and forth. And yeah. And he's kind of her Jiminy Cricket a little bit. Or he would be if she'd let him.
That actually kind of led into another question is, do you have any characters that are based on like real people that you know or in your life?
Well, in this story, they're definitely, I drew inspiration a little bit from real life, but no one is based on one person in particular. So George's dad has a health crisis. I can name about a half a dozen men I've known, maybe related to, not my own father, fortunately, who've gone through similar health crises and who were men who were absolutely in control of their lives and their careers and their families, but they couldn't kind of deal with this thing that made them so vulnerable. And that's, I think that's just a personality type that responds badly to that situation. So I drew inspiration for characters like him and many others, but there's no one who's sort of a direct lift from real life. That seems a little dangerous to me.
Yeah, because if somebody that you know is reading that book, they're going to be like, that's me, and it's like, no, it's not.
No, and it's true. And even when my sister read the first draft of it, I had said to her, this isn't based on anyone. She said, I know, but I know whose car that is, and I know who the bad kisser was. And I was like, no. Every answer she gave was wrong, although a good guess. So it's worth a shot. And that's why, too, this is set in a rural valley, very much like the Annapolis Valley where I grew up. But I changed the place names and the locations and everything because I didn't want anyone
to assume
to make assumptions. Yeah, so I had my way with it. Yeah.
What are 3 words you would describe, like encompasses everything in Here So Far Away?
3 words to the story of it.
3 words that you feel like relate or can encompass everything that is about the book.
Salty.
Extra salt.
A little extra salt. Oh gosh, that's really hard. Salty, heartfelt, there's a hyphen, so that's one word. And true, I hope.
Is there anything in your life that has inspired Here So Far Away? And did you know the ending while you were writing, or did it come to you after you started it?
I started with the ending because I had, over the years, heard several stories about secret relationships, and no fewer than 3 of them that went sideways the way this particular relationship does, which might seem a little, when you read it, that might be surprising, but it is true. So that was Drawn for Life, and I really did think that was going to be the bulk of the book for quite a long time. And then I thought, well, that'll be the second half of the book, because maybe I'll start more from the beginning. And then it became the final quarter, because, getting into George's life and all her other relationships, which I thought was important to include. I didn't want her to be a loner. And setting up this great love of her life and all the consequences that come out of the decisions she makes, that ended up being the story. And what happens around the 3/4 mark became more of a twist. And a little bit of a plot twist. But not merely a plot device. That really was where I started. Because I was interested in what it costs you to keep a big secret, both in the case of love, both, it's so hard to keep first love to yourself, don't you want to shout it from the rooftops, right? But then to continue keeping it to yourself after things get really complicated, that was really interesting to me.
How was writing Here So Far Away different from other books? Because I know you said you've written nonfiction as well as a middle grade.
Well, it's twice as long as the longest thing I'd previously written. So, and because I wanted George to have a full life, I thought it was a bit of a stereotype to make her a loner. I wanted her to have friends and family, and so I ended up with 3 major plot lines around friends and family and Francis and the boy and or the man, and or school, home, farm, if you will, but maybe I think 8 major secondary characters. So that, just the complexity of that and the challenge of that made it entirely different. I spent a huge amount of time on structure and pacing and plotting it out and all the rest, which might be surprising because in some ways it's a quiet story that takes its time.
It's very like laid out and relaxed, and like you kind of just follow George through her entire senior year and experience everything that she's going through. So it makes you feel like you are in like a real life situation. It's not like a book that has all of these plot devices in there to give it action, which is something that I loved about it because it made it more relatable for me to connect with George. George is like one of the characters that I've connected to the most.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it because I know in some ways you're very different. So I'm glad you can still feel an emotional connection with her. And I thought too, I mean, there is a lot of drama in the last quarter, and I wanted that to feel earned when you got there. I wanted it to feel like you built up. It might be a slow burn, but when you get there, that it seems real. Because as George's father says, life is a bad writer, and I didn't want anyone to get to that point and go, well, she's a bad writer. Where'd you pull that out from? Yeah, I wanted it to feel like you were going somewhere. And also, I think if her major complaint about living in the small town where she lives is that it's slow and boring, and then I have fireworks and explosions going off for the entire novel, that doesn't quite work. So I set it at a tempo that I thought mimics the pace of life, but hopefully there's enough going on to keep you engaged as you slowly move your way towards the drama of the second half.
Do you listen to music while you're writing? If so, is there like a specific playlist or even just a simple song that you feel likes to hear so far away?
I listened to the Tragically Hip a lot while I was, not surprisingly, because they listened to like the kids in the story. Yeah, they're right. Of course they are. Of course they are. So, and actually, credit where credit's due. I had a really hard time deciding what Frances does for a living, and I was locked in a friend's cottage for a week trying to break the story. And that was holding me up. It was really a major key to how they know each other and what he has at stake and everything. And it was, listening to Bob Cajun on repeat and Twist My Arm and all the rest that I suddenly thought, I think I know. So, the Tragically Hip, for sure, Road Apples in particular, was the one I listened to a lot, among other things. But and of course, George has a huge crush on Tom Petty, as she should.
The last, full-length answer question is, do you see a piece of yourself in George?
A little bit. I mean, I've had friends say that her voice is similar to mine in some ways. And that is true. I did kind of lend her my voice a little bit. But she, she's a taller, more beautiful, more confident, more quick-witted person who's ultimately has a different personality than I do. And so, I gave her some of my turns of phrase, maybe. And certainly, I grew up in a place like she's growing up in that time and all the rest. But her observations of the world aren't necessarily mine. I was sort of throwing my voice a little bit there.
I have a few quick-fire questions. So I'm going to ask you this or that, and then you get to pick the first thing that comes to your head.
Oh, dear. Okay.
So, here we go. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Pens or pencils?
Pens.
Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
PC or Mac?
PC, but I wish it was Mac.
Marvel or DC, or if you're a superhero fan?
I guess Marvel has the edge.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Country or city?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I can't choose.
Yes to all. Mm-hmm. Cake or ice cream?
Cake.
Everybody here agreed with that. They all came running for the cake.
That's true. They decimated it.
Books or movies?
Books.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Me too. So those are all my questions.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so much for letting me interview you.
My pleasure.
You're actually the first author that I've ever got to interview before on camera.
I'm honored.
So like I said, this book here, You're So Far Away, it's a finished copy and Hadley has signed it, and so I'm going to be giving this away. I'm going to be making up the giveaway rules and filming a clip after this once I am home, but thank you so much for joining me today. And please pick up You're So Far Away because it is so good, and I will link my review up in the cards because I really suggest you read it because it is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello friends, Danny here from the future. I am now home from Frenzy Presents. I figured I would now tell you the rules of the giveaway because I'm going to be giving away a finished signed copy of Hadley Dyer's Here So Far Away. This is the book that we've been talking about in this entire interview, and a book that I recently just reviewed and really enjoyed, and so I got a finished copy of it signed today for one lucky subscriber. So the rules of this giveaway are very, very simple. 1, you must be a subscriber. I will be checking. 2, you need to be a resident of either Canada or the US. I can't do international shipping. I can do Canada and US though. Potentially when I hit 3K subscribers and I do my big 3K giveaway, for that I might do an international giveaway, who knows. But because I'm shipping the book from me and not from Book Depository, I'm going to say that it needs to be US and Canada. You also need to leave a comment down below stating your favorite contemporary of the year so far, or your favorite contemporary of all time, or even just your favorite book. Just leave a comment about what books you have been reading that you are really enjoying. If I were going to comment down below, I would say Autobiography by Christina Lauren and Here So Far Away by Hadley Dyer, because those are the books that I've loved lately. I'm also going to need you to leave your Twitter handles in those comments, or Instagram comments, or whatever is the best way to contact you. Through DM or whatever, so that way I have a way to contact you. And it has been decided that the end of this contest will be April 30th, so on the 30th of April at like 11:59, carrying over into May 1st, that is the cutoff date. If you leave a comment on the video after that time or date, then you will not be eligible for it. I will literally be doing that draw at midnight, so there's no extra entries or anything like that. And I will be doing a video announcing the winner and contacting you. That is it. I will leave all of the rules in the description in case I missed anything. Happy Hunger Games, friends! Let's see who wins. I haven't done a giveaway in 5 ever, so this is exciting. I just wanted to say a big thank you again to both Hadley and HarperCollins for giving me this opportunity to both interview her and do this giveaway. I hope you guys enjoyed this author interview, and I hope you win the giveaway if you're watching this. That is it for this video, you guys. I don't know what my next one's going to be, but whatever it is, I'll see you guys in that one.